Washington, Indiana. Washington is a city in Daviess County, Indiana, United States. The population was 11,509 at the 2010 census. The city is the county seat of Daviess County. Washington was platted in 1815. It was named from Washington Township. The railroad was built through Washington in 1857. By 1889, it was a major depot and repair yard for the Ohio and Mississippi Railroad. The Baltimore and Ohio Railroad took over the line in 1893. During this time, the railroad employed over 1,000 workers. On November 17, 2013, an EF2 tornado tore through the western edge of the city, destroying 20 homes and severely damaging 20 others. The Magnus J. Carnahan House, Daviess County Courthouse, Thomas Faith House, Robert C. Graham House, Dr. John A. Scudder House, Washington Commercial Historic District, and Dr. Nelson Wilson House are listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Washington is located at 38 degrees 39'30 and 87 degrees 10'30 W, 38.65833 degrees north, 87.17500 degrees west, 38.65833, minus 87.17500. According to the 2010 census, Washington has a total area of 4.767 square miles, of which 4.73 square miles is land and 0.037 square miles is water. The climate in this area is characterized by hot, humid summers and generally mild to cold winters. According to the Köppen climate classification system, Washington has a humid subtropical climate, abbreviated CFA on climate maps. As of the census of 2010, there were 11,509 people, 4,558 households, and 2,849 families residing in the city. The population density was 2,433.2 inhabitants per square mile. There were 5,067 housing units at an average density of 1,071.2 per square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 89.2% white, 1.1% African American, 0.3% Native American, 1.1% Asian, 0.1% Pacific Islander, 6.4% from other races, and 1.9% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 9.6% of the population. There were 4,558 households, of which 33.4% had children under the age of 18 living with him, 41.8% were married couples living together, 15.2% had a female householder with no husband present, 5.5% had a male householder with no wife present, and 37.5% were non-families. 31.8% of all households were made up of individuals and 14.9% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.43 and the average family size was 3.04. The median age in the city was 37.3 years. 25.5% of residents were under the age of 18, 9.4% were between the ages of 18 and 24, 24% were from 25 to 44, 25.2% were from 45 to 64, and 15.9% were 65 years of age or older. The gender makeup of the city was 48.2% male and 51.8% female. As of the census of 2000, there were 11,380 people, 4,658 households, and 2,897 families residing in the city. The population density was 2,404.0 people per square mile. There were 5,077 housing units at an average density of 1,072.5 per square mile. The racial makeup of the city was 95.30% white, 0.91% African American, 0.30% Native American, 0.39% Asian, 0.05% Pacific Islander, 2.20% from other races, and 0.85% from two or more races. Hispanic or Latino of any race were 4.15% of the population. There were 4,658 households, out of which 30.6% had children under the age of 18 living with him, 45.9% were married couples living together, 12.5% had a female householder with no husband present, and 37.8% were non-families. 33.2% of all households were made up of individuals and 16.1% had someone living alone who was 65 years of age or older. The average household size was 2.36 and the average family size was 2.99. In the city, the population was spread out with 25.5% under the age of 18, 8.3% from 18 to 24, 26.1% from 25 to 44, 21.7% from 45 to 64, and 18.3% who were 65 years of age or older. The median age was 38 years. For every 100 females, there were 89.7 males. For every 100 females age 18 and over, there were 84.7 males. The median income for a household in the city was $29,055, and the median income for a family was $37,713. Males had a median income of $30,570 versus $19,306 for females. The per capita income for the city was $16,721. About 9.8% of families and 14.3% of the population were below the poverty line, including 19.3% of those under age 18 and 10.4% of those age 65 or over. The town has a free lending library, the Washington Carnegie Public Library. Washington still retains a number of architecturally historical buildings. The Helpenstein House, built in 1847, displays Greek Revival architecture styles. The Robert C. Graham House was owned by an Indiana car manufacturer and was built in 1912. It's an example of Frank Lloyd Wright's Prairie School of Architecture and is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. It has marble fireplaces, crystal glass French windows, a billiards room and parquet floors. On Main Street of Washington is the Daviess County Historical Society Museum. It's a collection of history related to Daviess County in Indiana. The museum features a funeral practices exhibit, a military history room, an art gallery, a Civil War display with an 1855 slave collar and a Civil War-era regimental flag, a schoolroom, and an archives room for genealogists as well as a gift shop. Archives